Welcome everyone to another episode of Dawgs Live, where we'll delve into what's happening in the world of Dawgs Fantasy Premier League and the Fantasy Premier League as a whole. Dawgs Live is proudly sponsored by YNY Kinky, opposite Delcom Senior High School at Adenta, and Rave Studios at Aoshi. Last game week on Dawgs Live, game 12, we gave you a special edition, which was the Managers Edition, and after the positive reviews, we decided to give you an encore. So this game week on game 13 review of Dawgs Live, we will be joined by two prestigious managers. You know, Dawgs Live has been graced by Fpl greats. I mean, can't do without mentioning Kaizo, who is a two-time champion, Nipanye Raf Gaba, who is also a champion, a previous champion. We have Boom Squad and Star Boys. But on this game we could be joined by Ivano, who was a runner-up in 21-22 season, and then one side who finished third in the 2021 season, and the last season, the 2022-23 edition. So we'll be asking them and picking their brains on what they think about. I mean, most of the thought-provoking questions we all as FPL managers have been thinking after the international break. I mean, going into game 13. So I am your host, Marshall, also manager of Crown Me Ken. So this is what we have for you on game 13. Stay tuned.
Hello guys, my name is Evans. My team name is Ivano, and today I'm here to share a few tips on how managers could manage their teams for the upcoming game week 13.
Hello guys, it's Kweku K here, one side. Shouts to everyone on the page with regards to Dawgs Live.
There is always a list of injured players after the international break. How does it affect setting up your team and the game week after an international break, and which solutions would you recommend to fellow managers?
The game week after an international break is always troubling. I mean, players go on international duties and come back injured. And then as an FPL manager, you'd have a couple of players being flagged. I mean, 3-4 players being flagged. And funny thing is, I mostly plan my team selection for 3 to 4 game weeks. So when or after the international break, when players come back injured and I have 5 players injured, I'll be intending to start the week after a game week. I have them flagged as injured. It's kind of worrying. Currently I have Udoji, Bowen, Haaland, Ederson and Højlund being flagged for injuries. I mean, where I was aware of Højlund's knock and on their last game against on their last game apparently. So, but after the international break or during the international break, a couple of players were also flagged, and then I'd have to come back to the drawing board to see how well I'll be able to adjust my team, because I'll definitely be hoping that I don't take any hits or too much hits. I'll be looking at taking no hits at all, but with 5 or more players being flagged for injury, I'll be hoping to reconsider. I mean, take 1 or 2 hits.
Question is about international breaks and injured players. Yes, most often than not, after international breaks, we have our major players coming back injured, and it affects our FPL teams as well. So the first thing you have to notice is before the international break, every manager would have to prepare ahead or save something that would enable him manage his team after the international break. And it usually comes with the free transfers. If you're able to save it at most 2 free transfers, it will enable you make adequate changes in your team. Moreover, too, if you have just a 1 transfer, in as much as possible, try and hold on to these transfers. Don't make early transfers. Get your team news, finish with the press conference. Let these coaches come and tell us what's really wrong with these players before you make your move. Don't make early moves, and don't take excess hits. Managers, don't take.
Okay, so let's go straight into it. Game week 13. It's a game week which has a long list of flagged players. Personally, in my team, I have 5 players who have been flagged or who have been deemed to be injured and to pass fit for the game week. I have Haaland, Mitoma, Onana, Gusto, and Bowen in my team. These 5 players have been flagged in my team. Personally, I don't enjoy international breaks, but it's part of the game, it's part of FPL, so that's it. It affects your team. Maybe you want to introduce a player at your bench, but that player is also flagged red because currently I have Gusto on my bench. He has also been flagged or deemed to not be fully fit. So let's see how it goes, fingers crossed. Like I said earlier, I don't really enjoy international breaks.
Liverpool versus Manchester City. Which players should we look out for and which players should we avoid?
So Liverpool playing City at Etihad. As a United fan, I mean the only outcome that I'll be pleased with will be a draw. But as an FPL manager who doesn't own either defenders from both teams, but I have Haaland and then Salah in my teams, I'll be hoping for a high scoring game. I mean I don't have any defenders and I'll be captaining either Salah or Haaland, looking for some good attacking returns from either one of them. But the one funny thing is the last time Liverpool won at the Etihad was in 2015, where they won 4-1 Club 1 against Pellegrini. That time Pep have not come, and they haven't won there in the Premier League since 2015. So I know it's going to be a difficult fixture for Salah. So maybe I'll be considering giving Haaland the captain armband. But players to look out for that team, I don't know. I was hoping to get another midfielder from City, maybe Doku or maybe Grealish. Was considering Bernardo for a long time, but I'm not really sure I'll be going in for any of the players. But
okay. So it's Manchester City versus Liverpool, and it's an early kickoff. and then my take on early kickoffs, the setbacks it brings. But I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, perhaps maybe a 1-1 or 2-1 in favor of City. And the players to look out for City, I think it's Haaland if he's fit, and Foden. For Liverpool, I think Mo Salah and Diego Jota if he starts. These are players you should always look out for when they are started. And players to avoid for City, I think Ederson. Just avoid Ederson. And maybe the City defenders for this weekend. And for Liverpool as well, I think all their defenders, you have to just avoid them, especially Chimikas. That guy.
Okay, so game week 13 promises to be fun because it kicks off with the biggest game in the week. That's City playing at home to Liverpool. Yeah, it's one of the biggest games for the game week. I have, I think, 3 or 4 players in there. I have Haaland, Salah, and then Chimikas. Haaland at home. News coming in suggests that he might play. We don't know what's going to happen. But I have Haaland, and Haaland has been performing. He's been doing quite well. He's doing quite well. Same with Salah. So it's going to be a roller coaster ride. It's going to be a blockbuster. The big boys are playing each other, so we'll see how it goes.
Chelsea versus Newcastle United. Which players should we look out for, and then which players should we avoid?
Newcastle versus Chelsea, I'm quite sure it's going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, Newcastle will be hoping to bounce back from their lose against Bournemouth, and Chelsea will be hoping to build on their game against City. But Newcastle have a couple of they have a significant amount of injuries to their first 11. I've learned that Isak might be back, but still not sure about that. But Chelsea will be going into their game with a bigger I mean, they'll be hoping to build on what they did against City, so that'll be a good game. Players in those teams that I'll be looking out for: Trippier with the CBs of Newcastle. I mean, Botman and Shah, and then Byrne possibly out. I'm not sure about his attacking returns with those crosses he's been pulling through. So I wouldn't be too keen on like having any attacking returns from Trippier. Hopefully a clean sheet probably, but yeah, that'll be all for. I don't know any other Newcastle player I'll be looking to get into my team. But with Chelsea, I know I've seen a couple of people bringing in Palmer. I'm so doubtful about, because how long will his penalty run last? I mean, how long can he take penalties? He can't possibly take penalties in every match. Sterling, a possibility to have some attacking returns, and then Nicholas Jackson.
Okay, so my take on the Newcastle and Chelsea game. Newcastle is having a long list of injured players. I'm wondering who is going to feature this week anyway. So I think it will go well for Chelsea, because they are building a good defense now. So the players to look out for: Newcastle, I would say Gordon, and for defenders I would say Shaw. For Chelsea, Cole Palmer, who is now on top form, red hot form. Then Raheem Sterling as well. These are players you will look up for. Players to avoid for Newcastle: I think all their injured players, just avoid them. They might not come to the pitch at all. Callum Wilson, Isaac, Almiron, they have all been flagged. So watch out for these players. And players are to avoid at Chelsea: don't go for Yajat. That guy, I still don't trust him. Don't go for him. Don't go for Conor Gallagher. These are flashy players. And that their goalkeeper Sanchez, don't go for him. You will concede. There's no need going for them.
Another big game for game 13 is the Newcastle-Chelsea game. Newcastle have been performing at the top level. I can say they are part of the big boys now in the top 6. But they have been hit with a lot of injuries. They've been hit with a lot of injuries. But there are some players that you need to look out for. Trippier, as always, he's there for the assist. He's there for assist. Cole Palmer for Chelsea, he's also ragging the points with assists, and then he's the one with taking the penalties and all that. So he and Sterling should be on the lookout. It's a very big game, but I think it will be close. Any player, any manager with Trippier should watch out, because anything might happen, and it's going to be a close game.
Overall outlook on Game Week 13 player recommendations.
For my overall outlook on Game Week 13, I'll be pointing managers to Crystal Palace. They play against Luton Town. Luton Town has been awful in their defense this season. Crystal Palace, I mean, Eze, Jordan, and defensive wise, Mitchell and then Anderson have been doing a game out. I mean, they have the joint. I think they have the joint highest clean sheets this season so far. I stand to be corrected, but they've been doing quite well defensively. And Luton Town doesn't look like a scoring team. Another team, Solanke, another player, Solanke, is also on form. He's playing against Bournemouth. And then the tough matches we tend to overlook. Brentford Arsenal is going to be a tough match. I mean, Brentford has been Arsenal has been quite shaky. Saka is not performing. Arsenal has been quite shaky, and Brentford will be looking to prove a point. Everton versus United. Everton will be hoping to prove a point. I mean, they've had 10 points deducted. They're currently in the relegation zone, and then they will be hoping to, climb back from the relegation zone. They've been very good this season, and United has been awful, in their away game. So possibly, Calvert-Lewin. I'm not sure if Calvert-Lewin will be fit or is available for that game, but maybe Calvert-Lewin. And then the most important game that I'll look forward to will be the Aston Villa vs Tottenham game. And I'm tipping Aston Villa to ride on the advantage with. I mean, Tottenham is still shaky. They've still not found their feet after the Chelsea game. So Aston Villa will probably pull some points. I mean, Douglas Luiz, Diaby, Watkins. Yeah.
Okay, so for my overall outlook on game week 13 and player recommendations, I think everyone playing FPL by now would know the surprises game weeks can pick up. Even the days we think things would go so much well are the days we miss a lot. So this week is no different game week. It could be one of those game weeks as well. So we should all brace ourselves to it. The player recommendations, I think Gerard Bowen is a standout pick, and I prefer kudos to James Ward-Prowse for their game. They are going to face Burnley. I think they will put in much goals there. I also think for the Crystal Palace and Luton game, Eze is a standout pick that we have to watch out for. And I think Hudson Edward as well. If you have a slot for him, he's going to put in some goals as well. And for the defenders, I think Crystal Palace defense are also solid as well. Looking at Joachim Anderson and Tyreek Mitchell, you could put these guys in for some peace of mind this week. Wishing all Hot Dogs managers the best of luck this game. May the best manager wins. More life will kill you.
I have a few names that I can mention the managers should look out for. First and foremost, Eze of Crystal Palace. He plays away to Luton Town. Yes, after recovering from the injury, coming back, he's been performing really well, top level. It's a game that has his name written all over it. I think he might have an impact in the game. Either he gives an assist or he will score a goal. Secondly, you should look at Bruno Fernandes. Even though he's not performing at the level that he used to previous seasons, but it's a game that I think he can do very well. Playing away to Everton. The last away game they played, he scored the only goal against Fulham. So I think he will do well. So managers should look out for Bruno Fernandes as well. Another name that I can mention is Erling Haaland. You can't go without mentioning his name, even though it's a very tough fixture and it's the first game of the game week. I think he can do something with the players around him. Erling Haaland should be one of the players to look out for. So thank you guys. I hope to join you guys in the studio very soon.